Hello, folks, and welcome back to Gearbox Podcast, your weekly desert podcast. I'm Nick,
And I'm Moxi.
and today we are here with the last preview of the 2022 season, the Yas Marina Circuit preview in the UAE GP. Moxie, what do you have to tell us about what happened though in Sao Paulo?
So there are so many things to talk about. Let's start off with Magnussen losing his car control and having a collision with Daniel Ricciardo. We got two DNFs in the first lap. It's quite unfortunate. I didn't expect that to happen. It's quite unfortunate to see Magnussen having such a bad result and causing, of course, him DNFing and as well as Ricciardo DNFing. What are your thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, it was definitely a racing incident, a kind of, let's say, the whole what happened in that turn. I wouldn't say it was Magnussen's fault, of course. The Ricardo out braked him a bit too much, causing him to collide with Magnussen. After that, Magnussen spun, and we know what happened in the end. Both cars DNF'd, unfortunately. I wasn't really thinking that Magnussen had a major problem with his car, but at the end, he ended up DNFing, and also his car was quite stuck, causing a safety car to be brought out in the first laps. But another thing that we should discuss as well is the collision between Leclerc and Norris. And also, Moxie, do you think Leclerc could have brought a better result if he didn't have that collision?
Yeah, I remember that collision in the seventh lap in the second sector, where it was actually a contact between Leclerc and Norris, and that caused Leclerc to go off the track and hit the barriers. Yeah, I think that if that collision hadn't happened, maybe we could see Leclerc in a better place, maybe in the second or third position, in the second and third place. We could see him in the podium, basically. But still, at the end, he managed to go to the fourth place, which is really good. And yeah, I think that he showed what a talented driver he is.
Right. So
So
let's talk about what happened between Ferrari and Red Bull, not giving to their second favorite drivers. Of course, Carlos Sainz getting the podium position at third place, but right behind him was Charles Leclerc, and of course, right at the back of the Ferraris was the two Red Bulls with Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Both of the Ferrari drivers who are not fighting for the second place in the for the drivers' standings did not give the position to their teammates. What do you think happened, Moxie? Was a miscommunication? Was it a choice from the drivers? What do you think happened there?
So yeah, I it was quite unexpected to see Carlos Sainz not letting Leclerc pass, and of course Verstappen not letting Perez pass, as they're fighting, as Perez and Leclerc are fighting, yeah, Perez and Leclerc are fighting for the second place of the 2022 driver standings. I think there was actually a miscommunication, and I think that they just drivers didn't know what to do, and I don't think that they did that on purpose. I don't think that Verstappen has something with Perez, or Sainz has something with Leclerc, or something that might actually give us an explain of what happened with Perez, with Sainz and Leclerc, is actually the fact that Sainz was on the podium and he wanted the podium, because yeah, being on the podium gives a lot of points to the team and of course to the driver. So I think that they just misunderstood themselves.
Yeah, and of course, with that whole incident that happened between the teams, we have Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc on level points in the fight with 290 points, all down going to the final race in Abu Dhabi. I really wonder what will happen if Ferrari are going to say otherwise and cause some problems with Leclerc. If Perez is going to have some struggles on the track and struggle to bring a good result uh, with his Red Bull car, it's going to be quite interesting. And I think it's now time to talk about the Yas Marina circuit. What do you have to tell us about it, Moxie?
So the Yas Marina circuit, also known as Abu Dhabi Grand Prix circuit, is going to take place this Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is going to be the qualifying session, and Sunday is going to be the race. They're going to be 58 laps, and the circuit length is actually 5,281 meters. The first ever Grand Prix, which took place, was actually in 2009, and the lap record was made by Max Verstappen in 2021 with 1 minute 26 seconds and 130 seconds. So that's pretty much it about the information, general information about the Abu Dhabi. Do you want to add anything else, Nick?
Not really. Let's just say that the Yas Marina circuit, just like you said, Moxie, it's kind of a new one added to the calendar as we had the first Grand Prix in 2009, and since then it's been on the end of the calendar, causing us to see quite the most spectacle in a track that is not that good for overtaking because at the start of a lap the tires are just too cold, and at the end of the lap. Because of because of so many turns that there are for the drivers, the rears are overheating so much that after one or two laps, they're just struggling to find grip. And it's just not quite enjoyable for the fans because we don't really have so many overtakes. But luckily, it's at the end of the calendar, just like I said in the start, that has caused us to see some historical moments in Formula One. Let's not forget what happened last year in the 2021 season with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. And not only they were level on points on the last race, but the battle went on the last lap. Of course, we can't forget that incident with Nicholas Latifi. He spun in turn 14, causing a safety car, and
Typical Latifi.
yeah, technical Latifi, exactly. Causing a safety car. After that, Red Bull took the advantage and they ended up overtaking Hamilton after the safety car. And Verstappen was crowned that night the first ever Dutch driver champion in Formula One. Of course, you can't forget the 2010 season, of course, with the well-known Dubist Weltmeister, the first ever constructor standing championship for Red Bull, and the first ever driver championship for Sebastian Vettel. And just like I said, Sebastian Vettel, unfortunately, it's his last ever race in Formula One this week. The circuit that he got his first ever drivers' championship is his last ever in Formula One. What do you have to tell us about it, Moxie?
Yeah, it's quite fortunate to see Sebastian Vettel leaving and retiring from the sport. I remember watching him winning the 2013 championship. He's such a talented driver. He has won four titles, and I'm really sad to say goodbye to him. But I mean, when something starts, it has to end. So yeah, I think that we're gonna see a really entertaining race by Sebastian Vettel, fighting for the 11th place, as he is really close with Daniel Ricciardo at the driver standings. So yeah, I think he's gonna give everything, and yeah, I hope that he's gonna take a good place in Sunday's race.
Yeah, I really hope to. And just like I said about Sebastian, Vettel retiring this week, let's just say that no more Nicholas Latifi in the 2023 season, unfortunately, as we might see as we might see Logan Sargeant replacing him. There have been some rumors saying that the American is going to replace the Canadian for the second place of the Williams racing Formula One team. Mick Schumacher is not going to continue with Haas. He's departing from the team, and not only that, he's departing from the sport as it looks like, with Nico Hulkenberg returning once again to the sport for Haas F1. It's going to be quite interesting because we know that Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg are not the best friends in the whole paddock that we've seen all these years. But I mean, you can't really say much about it, as well as Daniel Ricciardo retiring from Formula One. But luckily for you, Honey Badger fans, he has been announced that he will be a reserve driver for Red Bull, as Helmut Marko announced earlier this day. Of course, it's not going to be quite nice for us to say goodbye to the Honey Badger, but of course, he's not going to be forever gone, as he will have some chances maybe to appear in some practice sessions in the 2023 season with the team that he has scored many wins. Moxie, what do you have else to add on this?
Yeah, it's let's talk about let me just say about Latifi that even though roasting him in the later on in the series, it's just really really sad to see him leaving us from and leaving the sport. We're gonna miss him no matter if we roasted him, like I said in the beginning. And about Hulkenberg, yeah, it's that duo is going to be epic, as we all know the meme. All the F1 fans know the meme, and what what Magnussen said to Hulkenberg. It's going to be really entertaining for the F1 fans. And yeah, we have seen a lot of great transfers. And let me just say that we're going to enjoy this the upcoming Formula One season. Back to you, Nick.
Yeah, indeed, it's going to be quite interesting with the new transfers. Of course, with Oscar Piastri going into McLaren as well. What else? Fernando Alonso going and replacing Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin. We have maybe Logan Sargeant in the Williams, Nico Hulkenberg in the Haas. We have Pierre Gasly going into Alpine, joining the other Frenchman, Esteban Ocon. And of course, something that we did not really expect, we have Nick de Vries going in Alpha Tauri, a driver that was pretty much expected to go to Williams and start his career in Formula One. He's ending up going into the junior team of Red Bull in Formula One, which is going to be quite interesting in my opinion, of course. What do you have to comment on this, Moxie?
Yeah, some really good drivers. Nick de Vries going to AlphaTauri, and the French duo in Alpine, Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon. I think that we're going to see a really great battle between these two drivers. And yeah, I think these transfers are something else. And they're going to make the Formula 1 2023 season even more entertaining than this one. So, Nick, let's move on to the predictions about the qualifying and race. What do you have to tell us?
Right, so as you've seen, uh, as practice one and practice two has already happened as we are recording this podcast, again, Mercedes are looking pretty strong in a track that they haven't quite missed out since the start of the turbo hybrid era. I believe that Lewis Hamilton is going to stop getting this bad luck and get his first ever win in this season. and of course not continuing with this streak on the 2023 season, following by Max Verstappen in P2. P3 will go down to Charles Leclerc, I believe. P4 to George Russell, and P5 will go to Sergio Perez. I believe that Sergio Perez is going to lose this fight against Charles Leclerc. Hopefully for Leclerc, nothing bad happens about the Grand Prix. And for the pole sitter, I believe that Lewis Hamilton is going to do a magnificent lap, and he will get the first place at the start of the grid on Sunday. What do you think, Moxie?
Yeah, for the first time, we actually have the same pole sitter and the same person who's going to win. I also think that Lewis Hamilton is going to get the pole position, following Max Verstappen in the second place, George Russell in the third place, Carlos Sainz in the fourth place, and in fifth place, Sergio Perez. About the race, I think that Lewis Hamilton is going to get the first victory of 2022 season, as he's going to end this bad streak. And George Russell is going to be in the second place. And I think that in the third place is going to be Max Verstappen. And in the fourth place, Carlos Sainz. And in the fifth place, Checo Perez, which means that if my predictions are going to be correct, Sergio Perez is going to be in the second place of the constructors standings, of the driver standings, and Leclerc is going to be in the third place in the driver standings. Back to you, Nick.
Yeah, something a bit different between us always on the predictions. But only time will tell, of course. We're not quite far away from the race on Sunday, and we will see in 2 days' time who is going to be a winner between Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez for the second place. Of course, with other teams that are fighting for better positions in the Constructors Championship. Maybe Aston Martin can go up a spot against Alfa Romeo, which Alfa Romeo is up in front with 5 points against Aston Martin. Maybe Alpha Tauri, if they bring a better result, they can overtake Haas, which they have a 2 point gap between. Of course, the Alpha Tauri is still not looking strong with the brake problems that Gasly has said from Japan, if I remember well. But Haas is not looking quite strong in the car, of course. And in my opinion, we should add also the battle between Mercedes and Ferrari. They have a 19-point gap with Ferrari in front. I believe that if Lewis Hamilton and George Russell bring a good result, they can definitely overtake Ferrari, and maybe they can. I don't think there's any, of course, chance for them to pass Red Bull because the Constructor Championship is over. But they can definitely bring again a good result for the P2 in the constructors. And it's unfortunate to say, but I think that McLaren has no more any chances on passing Alpine for the constructors. I think that with the good result in Sao Paulo and the double DNF in Brazil, there's no chance, in my opinion, that McLaren are going to pass Alpine. Right now, the gap is in a 19-point gap, and with the car that Alpine has at the moment, I think it's near impossible to do it. What do you think, Moxie?
Yeah, I also agree with you. I think that the bad result McLaren brought in Sao Paulo, yeah, they just ended the chance of overpassing Alpine in the constructor standings. About the Mercedes and Ferrari fight, I think that if Mercedes bring a good result in Abu Dhabi, and as I said earlier with my predictions, Hamilton and Russell have that double podium, I think that they are going to easily overpass Ferrari in the constructor standings. And yeah, about the Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin fight for the in battle for the sixth place. Yeah, I think that Valtteri Bottas is going to be in the top 10, and he's going to give everything he has to keep the sixth place. And I also think that we're going to see a really great fight between Bottas and Vettel, who are going to get the best place and, of course, bring points to their teams.
Yeah, I really hope so. We see a result like that for Sebastian Vettel, of course, like we said at the start of the podcast. It's his last race, unfortunately. Such a talented driver. We have to say goodbye. Uh, I think I'm going to get quite emotional on Sunday. But yeah, I will have to agree with you on this. Alfa Romeo looking strong with Bottas. Maybe the 5 point gap is quite big for Aston Martin, and I think that Alfa Romeo can keep the position. And yeah, I think this is about it for the last ever preview of the 2022 season. What do you think, Moxie?
Yeah, it's the last ever preview. We actually started from the Singapore GP making YouTube videos on YouTube, but still we showed the love and the support we give to the sport. So I think that someday our work will be shown to other people, and we're going to get what we deserve. And yeah, it's quite unfortunate to see 2022 Formula One 2022 season ending like this. I hope that we're going to see a really entertaining race this Sunday, and because all the Formula One fans deserve this, as they support this sport quite a lot. And I think that it would be really great to see Sebastian Vettel driving the Aston Martin car for the last ever time. Nick, back to you.
Right. So again, it's been great having you as a support in this season. Of course, we didn't start early in the season. We started on the Singapore GP. You guys have been great. Make sure to like and subscribe to show all of the support possible. And we'll see you guys for the next one. But don't you worry, we have some things prepared for you to keep you nice and warm till the end of the season break between the 2022 and the 2023 season. See you guys.
See you guys.